Jordan of the analogy in which if you're buying Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, you're just buying forever. You're never going to stop buying.
Yeah, I'm going to keep buying. I joke. So you said, well, is 100,000 too much? And I said, look, Dave, I'll be buying it at $1 million a coin, and I'll probably be buying it at the rate of $1 billion a day at $1 million a coin, because that's what I do. Just like you're like, crap, Manhattan real estate's really expensive in 1930. It's a lot more expensive than 1830. I'm like, well, 100 years later, we'll still be buying it and we'll be paying a lot more. The only issue is, can you hold it for that time period? Because people are going to want to buy it.
So basically, Saylor is still telling you that we are this early. $100,000 is a cheap price. Bitcoin is going to do 100+x from here over a given time frame. Are you going to be able to hodl through it? Time will tell. With that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. We've been giving you a lot of live streams, a lot of interviews. If you guys like it, make sure you smash the like button and also follow us on X and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We appreciate all your support. Getting straight into it, the current time it's recording, Bitcoin is coming in at 103.4K. So we've had a cool off. Let's zoom into the price action. Do we think the bull run is over with? Not quite yet. We've drawn these lines out and we've showed you this multiple times. This is some horizontal support, that we are now just sitting on top of. What will Bitcoin do? Will we come down further and will we test this lower bound here, around the $100,000 threshold, before having that continuation? Or next week, will we see that continuation, or will we get a bigger cool off? That's definitely in the realm possibility. As you see right here, this looks like a textbook shoulder, a textbook head, and we have to have this potentially drop down a little bit further to actually get that whole shoulder formation. Could this be what's in the cards? A cool off before a blast off? Is the cool off done? Next week will we rip? Time will definitely tell. Bitcoin dominance is still trucking its way up, almost at new all-time highs from the previous 2 years, around 65%. We told you this before. This is a bullish cross of these moving averages right here. You see the green line, the 20 moving average cross over both the 50 and 200. And right now it's just acting as support. So as time progresses, are we going to just continue to stair step our way up and Bitcoin take the lead? Meanwhile, could we see something like this? Shout out to Crypto Kaleo. Could we get a massive sell-off all the way back down to around 88 to 92,000 before we get that reversal pattern and then a continuation? If this happens, this would be an ultimate load up opportunity. These opportunities aren't always given. And right here, you see weeks 133 to 152. You see every time we get into these weeks, what happens during bull cycles? Parabolic phases. 2017, parabolic blow off top. 2021, parabolic blow off top. And look where we are right now. We're getting ready to start that week 133. Could we be seeing a parabolic run up over the next 4 months? If that's the case, then we're just sitting right at this support, getting ready to rip to the upside. We hope you're prepared. And right here, Metaplanet's been melting faces. A lot of people have been talking about Metaplanet. Institutional ownership is picking up pace to the order of 10x in the current month. So picking up pace in a magnitude of 10x. This is just beginning. This is just the start. If you're sitting on the sidelines and you haven't scooped up some, Metaplanet is definitely a play. They've been showing you they went from 0 to 10,000 Bitcoin. They're shooting for 210,000 over the next 2.5 years. Metaplanet continue to shock most, but will you be hodling it through the upwards volatility? $2.3 trillion capital group has just acquired 5% stake in Japan's top Bitcoin treasury company, Metaplanet MTPLF 3350. The Bitcoin focused firm has surged over 3,500% in 2024 and currently holds more than 1,700 Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Not sure they're talking about the capital group owning that much. Metaplanet owns 10,000, but either way you cut the cloth, This is a major player investing in a company that we've been talking about. Metaplanet, at the current time of this recording, after markets coming in at $12.38, and this is a pretty just steady upwards trend to the upside. And you can see we have this peak up to about $14, $15. Could we be seeing a blast off over the next week when Bitcoin runs? This will rip. Keep this in mind. But one thing to note, shout out to Vincent, Metaplanet just made its highest weekly close. Let this sink in. The highest weekly close is on the daily. Let's look on the weekly. And what does this mean? This means that there's a continuation that's inevitable. This train is not slowing down. And right here, there's a lot of fear. During our live streams, people were asking about what's our thoughts on the war. Don't pay attention to the FUD. Obviously, be informed of what's going on. But look here, President Trump says maybe it won't be necessary for the United States to strike Iran. This is just a dog and pony show. There is a war for sure, but you just can't, make your investment thesis solely based off of fear. You have to, take every opportunity the market gives you. There has been a substantial pullback. The latest one was when Trump came out with his tariff talks, and it had a massive pullback in April of this year. And a lot of things in the market, specifically the Bitcoin Treasury Company, have ripped to the upside. So right now, when you see these pullbacks, if that comes, like we talked about, this potential massive flush back down to the low 90s, could we see that? That could be what's in the cards, but load up if that's the case, because this cycle is not over with yet. So if you're not in the market, we've told you time in the market is better than timing the market. And Michael Saylor agrees. Listen to what he has to say.
Like if you roll the clock back to 2007, Steve Jobs invents the iPhone. And, people thought, oh, it's a toy. By 2009, the iPhone's got an app store. And if you understood anything about software, the iOS is a new operating system, and it's going to be its own ecosystem, at least as important as the web. And it's going to spawn an entire new generation of applications, right? And the mobile wave is responsible for what, like $5 trillion, $5 to 10 trillion of wealth over the next decade. Can you imagine someone sitting around saying, oh, I get mobile device technology, and you're trying to time the market in Apple stock in 2011? Like you're buying and selling Apple stock in 2011? You want to shake them like, are you out of your mind? I'm trading Facebook stock back and forth between $8 a share and $4 a share and $12 a share. And you just want to do this. Like, do you not understand that one day every single person on the planet is going to have one of these things in their pocket, and it's going to go up by a factor of 100? And you're trying to trade Apple stock between $1.25 and $1.17 and bragging about how you bought it at $1.25 and sold it at $2.11. And have you figured out the consequences of being short the share if it goes up by $100? Like the amount, are you out of your mind? Because, by the way, I spent 30 years in the business, and I obsess over this every single freaking minute of the day. And I wrote a book on it, right? I wrote the book. I predicted the future. I made $500 million investing in these things, right? And I started, and I put a small amount of capital in. And let me tell you one thing, John, I can't time the market. I have no freaking clue.